Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Not Your Advisor with NYU Grad. Hope you all had a great weekend on this Monday, September 23rd. Let's dive right in. Today was a very lackluster session, very low volume. I'm going to jump right into this. So taking a quick look at breadth numbers, we had 853 new highs on the NYSE versus 175 new lows across the board. 52% of stocks were advancing versus 43% declining. 31% of stocks were below their respective 50-day, and 33% of stocks were below their respective 200-day moving average. The indices did not move much. I'm talking like the Dow was up 61 points or 0.15%. The NASDAQ was up 26 points or 0.14%. We basically hovered around the previous close. Overnight on Sunday, the market sold off. We rallied hard after 3 a.m. while you were all sleeping. The market opened. A little bit later, we sold off, and then we bounced again. That was the whole session. At like 3:50 p.m., we were at 28 million shares traded on the SPY. The average daily volume on the SPY is about 50 million. It's been declining ever since the summer, where we were at about 77 million shares traded per day. This is why I follow breadth and volume. It's very hard for the sell side and Wall Street to hide their intentions in dark pools and options forever. Taking a look at the Mag 7 and mega caps, Microsoft was down 0.4%. Apple was down 0.75%. Alphabet was down almost 1%. Nvidia was up 0.2%. Meta was up 0.5% or and change. Amazon was up 1.1%. Tesla was up the most, almost 5% on the day. Sectors, consumer cyclicals led the way, up 1.1%. Energy, 1.13%. Real estate, 0.98%. Utilities, 0.88%. Industrials, 0.66%. Consumer defensive, 0.63%. Basic materials, 0.61%. And then in the red, you had healthcare leading to the downside, 0.6%. Communication services down 0.3%. And technology it was up. Technology was up a whopping 0.06%. Woo! If you don't know, this week is the UN General Assembly happening in New York City. I never travel up to Midtown, to be quite honest with you, so it doesn't really impact me. But if you need to commute, if you need to go to Midtown, try to avoid it if possible. It's going to be gridlock all week. If you're coming in from the airports, allow for a lot more time to get from JFK, LaGuardia into Manhattan. If you have to take the subway into the city, hope you carry some mace on you or some type of self-defense, a metal shaft pen or something. Maybe you know some Krav Maga, who knows? And you can do some John Wick stuff. But it's going to be a very busy week this week. In New York, just people pounding the sand and on the pavement. But today's session was, wow, real snooze fest here. But I still want to cover it because when I don't do these podcasts, I just feel kind of empty inside. I miss you all. But I did want to really quickly cover a few things before we break today. One thing that stuck out is the 10-year yield, which closed the day in green. That's pretty suspicious, huh? The Fed cuts 50 basis points. I told you, the Fed is behind. I told you all, the 10-year yield has declined from 4.7 in April, May to 3.6 right before the cut. The Fed is behind the curve. So what was strong? As I noted, Tesla was up the most of the Mag 7, up 4.9%. Uranium up 4.5%. War is good for uranium. MicroStrategies up 3.58. Hut 8 Corp 3.58. Marathon up 3.4. Crocs up 3.38%. Intel up 3.3%. Birkenstock up 2.8%. Harmony Gold up 2.1. K Hovenian Home Builder 2.06. ARM Holdings up 2.03. Toll Brothers Home Builder 2.03. Palantir, the AI weapons system developer, up 2.02%. What was weak? DJT 10.33%. Wow. What else? Instacart 4.56. Silvercorp Metals down 3.37, which is curious because gold was up. I'll have to dig into that. DRV, which is short real estate, down 3.24%. Sweet Green Salads 3.9 after being up last week. Yext 3.02%. Roku 2.92%. Natural gas down 2.79%. It was up in the morning. I don't know what happened there. SRS, which is another real estate short, down 2.28. CrowdStrike down 2.25%. For free members, you need to continue to watch the macro. Continue to watch the Mag 7. The Mag 7 consisted of 64% of the S&P 500 gains for the first half of this year. So folks that are trying to tell you to diversify, they don't know what they're talking about, unless they're talking about diversification across asset classes. Within the stock market, I believe you need to be concentrated. But you should definitely diversify across multiple asset classes like bonds, like real estate. But talk to your financial advisor who probably hasn't been calling you. I will see the free members after the Tuesday session. Premium members, please stay on. I have about 25 charts to go through with you today. Welcome back, premium members, as well as new premium subscribers. Thank you all for joining. So I have about 20 plus charts to walk through for the macro. Let me know in the comment section, or send me a private chat, or reply to any of the private chats, or email me at nyugrad@protonmail.com. Any chart requests you have for tomorrow. I suspect we should pick up volume tomorrow. It was quite a surprise to see such low volume after last week we had that 50 basis point cut. We should be like, Nvidia should be at $400 by now. The Russell 2000 should be sky high. The NASDAQ should have made a new high. Why is only the Dow and the SPY making new highs? It's very curious to me. It just feels like prices are waiting for someone, something, or some type of instruction to start moving. And just as a quick reminder, I did a ton of posts since last week. If you go back to There's Nothing New on Wall Street But the Participants, or the 10 warning signs for stocks, all of those things are still true. But I'm not going to go through all of those 10, right? I don't want to keep you, because nothing has changed with all 10. It's all still very high alert warning signals. I still believe you should all be in safety, not YOLOing for semiconductors and trying to catch a falling knife for things like GameStop or like DJT. And then this is not a political statement, because DJT was all like crypto, and it was a very momentum news-driven stock. I just don't want you guys taken, because it's down like 75-80%. And it's very hard to come back from 80% loss. You need a 400% gain just to break even. I don't think Trump is going to pay you back if you're losing 80% on DJT. So the SPY VIX ratio chart closed today at 359.88. It barely budged from last Friday where it closed at 353. Obviously, we're still very far away from that fourth kiss around that trend line around 450. I still believe and suspect we are on a march for the next 18 to 30 months to a reading on the SPY VIX ratio chart of 25. Unless something else happens. The SPY VIX ratio chart, long-term chart, I've included it for the newcomers. You can see since 1991/1992, this encompasses the dot-com boom bust, the housing great financial crisis, and where we are today, including the COVID crash and rally. Every time we've kissed that every time we've kissed that green trend line, we have marched for 18 to 30 months to a reading of 25. Undefeated chart. And we have made that fourth kiss. The 10-year Treasury yield, 2-year yield inversion curve. Take a look at this one. We are officially uninverting. And this has been a very bearish sign for stocks, for the economy, and it has 100% led to recession. Another undefeated chart. Maybe this time both of these charts will go defeated, and somehow Jerome Powell will find a way to re-invert this yield curve inversion and somehow beat the SPY VIX ratio chart, as well as the other 8 warning signs. Apple, we're above the 50-day. A few of my family members have gotten the new iPhone 16 because they're on the iPhone 11 and 10. They have told me, because I'm not on the iPhone iOS, that it's basically the same. That's right. It's a little bit better camera. It's a little bit heavier. They actually measured it on a baking measuring cup. It went up like 0.6 ounces for the Pro, and they just simply needed to upgrade because the battery was dying. It wasn't like, oh my God, this phone is awesome. So be mindful here. I don't know if anyone with the iPhone 15, 14, 13, or an Android will be switching to an iPhone 16 anytime soon. But hey, they are the market. They are the old money of Wall Street. They pay a minuscule dividend so you don't sell. And they're above the 50-day, and they're above that 2003 dotted pink trend line. It has to hold that 50-day. I suspect without some type of news that they've either purchased Palantir, purchased Nvidia, purchased Tesla, they're going to have a very hard time growing. That's my train.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.